welcome into the Bullshit Pretend Friends Fantasy Basketball Podcast. I am Gordo. With me, as usual, is Bergs. We are your hosts. How are you, mate?
Look.
Welcome in.
I'm
Last
great,
show of the year.
I'm actually fantastic. How
what
are you,
a
mate?
year. What? You're fantastic.
Yeah, I'm fantastic, mate.
If you... Okay. I believe I said this to you in the pre-show. I'll say it again. If you mention it, if you say one fucking word about it,
I'm just
this
happy,
will end.
bro.
This will end.
I think the listeners know why I'm happy.
All right.
It's a little bit more than just that, which we'll get into. But, basketball's now over. The other one's in. Stop fucking muting, bro.
I'm trying to unmute. There we go.
You're like the old Twitter, mate. Trying to censor me. Right? Now, where's Elon? Where is he? Get him in here. But I reckon I was talking about fucking realised for like 30 seconds.
Oh, easily. I just left you.
Actual cockhead, bro.
Hoping. Yes.
You're about as rat
all right.
as fucking Rochelle taking Xavier Dersman's bow fucking celebration today. What a rat, by the way.
I don't think anyone on the face of the earth cares about that.
Richo saw it and he cared, so I care. Fucking stealing shit. The Crows always trying to steal shit from Port.
Cool story, bro.
Just about to talk about this fantasy fucking shit.
Yeah. So basketball.
Yay.
We are still in basketball season. First and foremost, congratulations to our fearless leader, Matthew. I mean, even Hitler was good once, apparently. Hitler was Times Man of the Year. So well done, Matt.
We got a new winner. So I guess we got And Serge has been going on about shit all week, so I'm actually glad he lost. So
we celebrated having a new winner last week because it was inevitable. So what a fizzer of a final.
One of the worst finals in history, surely.
We have had finals tied and decided on stat corrections.
Yeah.
And Serge couldn't even. We have
Tuesday.
3 days of
it was
Tuesday, yeah. Couldn't even give us 3 days.
Yeah.
3 lousy days. What the fuck, Serge?
Bit of karma for being arrogant wanker, I guess. Thinking he could not trade Chet and win the fucking league. Pure arrogance.
Everyone, I love a bit of arrogance, but you got to back it up.
Yeah, nah. He's his group chat name's here to stay, I guess.
Surely we can make it something a bit more succinct because I hate that song, but yeah.
Look, he chokes on more dicks than his sister, so sucked in.
You can't use that. You can't use that for everyone. You just say that about Matt.
I'm salty about Chet, but I'm glad it cost you the final.
Have you gone back to look at with Paul George and whoever else you offered be making a difference?
32 assists they got in 5 games. Now, I think the 4 or 5 games from the players I said before, they got like 9 assists. So he would have won assists definitely, and he definitely would have won points. So it's safe to say that PG and Drew, he would have won. Whether Bahrain would have changed his mindset, though, is a different story. Obviously, it's hypothetical, but it would have given him a better shot than the fucking duds he played. Let's have a look at some of the duds he played. Honestly, let's go through some of these fucking spastics that he played in the final. Kyle Lowry, fucking Jalen Smith, Charles Bassett, David Roddy.
Can we go back to that? I'm so glad that Jalen Smith is ruining someone else's life after fucking up my season because he was my second pick.
His first round pick of Zubac.
That's really pleasant.
Herter did fucking nothing in 4 games. So,
Didn't Herter have one really good game on Serge's bench?
Yeah, look. Which who did?
Had a 28 point again.
I think the actual good game he played for the week was on his bench. Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
But sucked in really. Just if you're playing them spuds in a final, like he got unlucky with Jar and Donkey. Let's be honest, right? He got very unlucky. But the point is, Matt lost LeBron and had the depth to cover. Serge didn't have the depth to cover because he wouldn't trade a kid to win the league. Now, I'd understand if Serge was a two-time champion to make a move like that. But when you've choked in every single time you've made a final or a prelim, surely you're not leaving anything to chance. So that's why I think the arrogance of him is a big fucking sucked in, basically.
It was pretty funny. Matt also had Andrew Wiggins out for the entire playoffs.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, Wiggins is a big loss. He actually suits Barre's team. Fucking like it a lot.
Yeah. Like despite the tax that Wiggins cops,
he's actually worth the tax now, though.
Oh yeah. So his last game was on February 19th. He went.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, spot on. So
Wiggins was a pretty decent loss for Matt.
Yeah, definitely. Like he's a handy player. Like he's 1-2. He averages 2 stocks a game. It's handy.
So props to Matthew. Well done. Congratulations.
He deserves it, but it's definitely another choke from Serge. Whether it's unlucky in his own making, it's still a choke. It's very unlucky. Like to lose your 2 best players is stiff. But if he had that depth, he could have covered it. And because Bahrain didn't have a massive week, it wasn't like it was huge. But it was pretty normal for him. He only scored 450 points. He's a 650 plus points. He was always going to win steals and blocks. So Serge should never even tried for them anyway. But hey, well done, Bahrain. You're not Kevin anymore. So you can have that, mate. You still got a big nose. But I look forward to your winning video. Better be fucking good.
Just sidebar. Have you actually seen the league, Ben? Or do you just piggyback?
I have seen the league. I have watched. I love the league. Fucking great show.
Okay.
And I know who Kevin is, mate.
Pretty sure Matt has not seen it, but he
has he not watched the league?
Where he had me. No, pretty sure he hasn't. I think just me, Richo, and Simo explained it to him.
I've 100% watched the league, mate. The whole lot. Loved every of it.
Aged quite poorly, I have to say.
Yeah.
Watching it back quite recently.
Yeah.
Anyway, the other matchup that we had.
Oh yeah.
Should we talk about that?
Yeah, I guess. Actually, it was a pretty good baseball matchup. Surprisingly.
Was it?
Yeah, it was. It came down to the last day, mate. If Baker wasn't a retard, he could have won today, mate.
That's the thing. Like, really confused by Baker's strategy because to gain by losing today. He has the first 2 favorite horses either way, whichever way this fell.
He has the best shot in the league.
So his entire weekly strategy has been very peculiar.
Look, he made some good. He made some good early streams that played really well for him. But the last few days, if you notice, if anyone looked at the matchup, Buddha did what Buddha had to do and turned into like a mini Richo, and understood that he only had to win certain categories and picked up every single player to either use or to prevent Baker from getting picked up. So there's a difference between a very good coach to one who fluked the final and really struggled this week. It just showed. He could have won this week. I know Buddha went on about how he was having a massive week, but I proved that wrong, where it was pretty much an average week for Baker's team. And he just had to pick the right streamers the last few days, and he could have won. He lost by 5 turnovers and like a few made field goals in the end. Like 16 assists. 5 blocks. It's not that
Yeah.
many. He just didn't make the right. He chose to pick guards today when he needed field goal and low turnovers. Made no sense to me.
It's almost as if an entire season of intentionally losing, he'd forgotten how to win.
Yeah, that's the good old cliche.
He got the pressure. The pressure actually came down on him. Where he got to these. He started off pretty well, as you said, and we get to the actual pressure part of the week where the decisions are really these matter a lot.
Yep.
And it got to him, and he'd forgotten how to act properly.
Yeah, Buddha just won smarter. That's it. That was the difference. He was just smarter about his pickups. And Baker did ask me about pickups. I'm like, mate, we'll look at injured teams. And then when it comes to the last few days, pick up players for the stats you need. And even though his team did shoot 51% today, but Buddha shot 71. So that's the difference, right?
Why? So did you just give Baker bad advice? Is that?
No,
I'm not sure.
I didn't want to help too much, but he asked me a valid question, so I just led him in the right direction of picking up he picked up Wood and Green. Dallas injury ridden this week. He made some pretty good moves with his streamers. I'm not going to lie. But then he picked up Hartenstein today and didn't play him, and that's the perfect player he needed to play. It wouldn't have helped him, but it was still to not play him is still the wrong move, right? Picks up Monte Morris. What do you pick up Monte Morris for when you need field goal and low turnovers? This is ridiculous.
He didn't play him either.
RJ Barrett had a pretty massive week. I don't know if it would have helped him win. He might have got a field goal because he had a pretty massive week field goal, didn't he? Let's have a look here. Where is he? The fucking player?
He shot 44%, 60-1, and 60. He was 8 of 13 in his last 2 games for both of those games. So 16 and 26.
Yeah, 3 games he shot 53% and 15 and 19 free throws, which would have mattered. So he would have still 1 free throw.
He had 2 turnovers in his last 2 games.
Yeah, only 3 turnovers for the week. Right? That is a fucking phenomenal Barrett week, let's be honest. With no Brunson, he came back today, I think, or yesterday. Yeah, today, I think it was. So, he didn't play Barrett for field goal for percentages yet. He was probably his best week for him. So that's a bit funny. I find that funny. So overall, we gave it a good crack, though. To have the team he has and to push someone all the way.
It gifted us the first completely winless season.
Yeah, that was fantastic, isn't it? We'll never be right. No one's going that deep again like that.
Well, it can statistically never be beaten. No one's going to get a 0. You can't beat 0% winning percentage.
Yes. But look, that was a pretty much result. I think I said 6-3 last week, right? Can't remember what I said. Pretty much the result we expected. It just came a bit differently.
You did actually. You said 6-3.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll cover our tips. You had Buddha winning 6-3. I had Buddha winning 7-2. So well done there. You get the big tick. But the bet that we had, which was for the cigar.
I'm happy to lose.
You selected Surge foolishly. And me in my infinite brilliance. I knew that Matthew was going to win and get the job done. So nice victory cigar for me.
I knew I'd curse him.
To go with the carton you're bringing.
We all won.
Yes, well done.
Yeah, we both won that.
Yeah, we all won. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Much rather Matt as champion, where he'll be present with him. I'm okay
with Brian being the champion. It will shut up the 3 knobheads for a year at least. Because we're fucking sick of those 3. So it's good to have a new champ. Glad it's not Surge. I hope Surge never wins this league after his attitude. I still love him, but I'm gonna rip. I'm gonna rip into him about Chet. I went pretty hard at him. He wanted Sabonis. Was never gonna do Sabonis, but so I'll be salty about it until the start of next year, I guess. But on a side note, there was a very decent trade offer made this week. I'm definitely being a rat making this public. But there was a trade offer. It was an extremely good trade offer, I reckon. It was Giddy and a first for Jar. And it was Strobel's first, so a top 6. That's a solid. That's a solid.
Interesting.
A shot at Wemby and Giddy is not terrible. Obviously, I don't think Serge is doing it, but
I don't think that's close for Serge, to be honest.
I'd be pretty mad if I was him with Jar. But I'm not loyal, so he'd be gone already.
I don't think that's close for Serge. I
still think it's a decent offer because a shot at Wemby is very overpriced. Usually, Giddy at a first wouldn't be enough, but because that first is a shot at Wemby, it has a bit more value. So I think it's a reasonable offer.
Sure.
Just based on the fact that first-round pick's valued a lot higher than it usually is.
Yeah, Serge would be pretty dumb to do that and then end up with pick 6. So
that's the risk, right? It's a very high risk, low reward offer. But it's still in my eyes. It's not gonna you're not gonna take it like that because it's not overs. But it's not a terrible one. Like, there's been some terrible offers around this league, and I class that as just a reasonable offer.
Okay. That probably wasn't worth bringing up, to be honest.
No. Well, mate, I think it was worth it. Not very often Stroke offers reasonable offers, mate. Right?
It's not very often he communicates about trades in general. All right, so we're at the end of the season. Probably time to just put our obviously highly valuable opinions out there about all the teams.
Our rats.
Everyone's been waiting for this.
Yeah, of course, they always do. Yeah. They say they're like reverse psychology. Us, we hate you. You're such rats. But then they fucking listen to us and love listening to us. And even people like Aaron said it's not terrible, you know. And from Aaron, that's a compliment, right? So our opinions do matter. They love it, mate. They fucking love it. They just won't tell us that they love it, mate. And that's okay.
All right.
They hate that they're friends, mate. You know that, right? They hate that. They want us as enemies.
Yeah, they want us back to the old days of the animosity in the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Richo, I know that Richo misses using that.
Yeah.
Right. So our rubric here is a simple pass or fail.
Yeah.
We'll start at the top. I think pretty obvious here. Matt's season, pass or fail?
That's a pass, obviously. He should have. He put himself in a position to win, and he won. Easy pass.
Would you like to expand on that? Yeah, easy pass from that. He did what he needed to do, didn't he? He bought the right assets. He built the right team. He's probably the first time, and he's finally actually figured out like the players he need to put around Giannis and Gobert to make his punt build better than Richo's.
Punt build was way better. Chris Paul actually was massive in his punt build, and LeBron, they were massive. They really were.
You can't. He realized you can't just have all these bigs that are bad at free throw and get blocks. Like you need to still win those other categories.
Claxton was probably his most improved player.
Oh fucking hell, Claxton! What a pickup! Yeah.
So no, very very high pass on that one.
Matt, this one's going to be Salvati.
Look, normally. For anyone else, it'd be a pass. But for Serge, it's a fucking fail. Another wasted year of being fucking extremely good and not winning it.
I don't think there's a way that you could...
My internet's been shit, I reckon.
Win or fail year. Yeah, win or bust year, so that's a fail.
That's a fail.
I guess he doesn't have his first. He kept Chet, but yeah.
Yeah, look, I don't know what his keepers are very weird. He's going to have to drop someone good now because of Chet, unless he trades him. Imagine if he trades him after all that in the preseason.
There's no chance. There's no chance.
Richo? Richo's a massive pass.
Richo.
Massive pass for me. Lost Zion for most of the year. Still made the prelim. That's a big pass to me.
I mean, you're always talking about Richo being this elite streaming god.
He is. He is a streaming god. I don't care what anyone says.
But Matt had a pretty average week last week, and Richo still lost.
Yeah.
He cracked under pressure.
Yeah, no, it's still a pass, though. For him to lose Zion for more than half the year, he's obviously got that cursed guy called Ben Simmons on his team. You know, if you got Ben Simmons on your team, you make a prelim, it's a pass, mate. I'm telling you.
He has his first still, I think.
Yeah, he does. He's one of the rare ones that does in the top 6. Yep.
Well, that's good for him, I guess.
I think that's a pass. Very good pass, Richo. Hope you like that, mate. That's a high pass.
Agree, disagree.
Look, but the next one we might disagree on as well.
Simo.
I think it's a fail for Simo.
He got unlucky with Kevin Durant getting injured, slipping on some wet floor at the end there.
Go on, mate. I'll give him Jamal Murray.
Yeah, so he didn't really do much. He kept it. He's still got his first, doesn't he?
I think Simo does have his first.
Yeah.
So it's probably not a massive fail.
He's just really on Kyrie's coattails.
Yeah. He did have. He
just kind of like sat there.
But he was in it to win it. Like, he's getting old. So
yeah, like he kind of didn't make too many win now moves. He kind of just sat there and watched his team go through the emotions again. Kind of expecting Kyrie and KD to do it for him.
He does have
injured at the wrong time. I'll put that down as a fail.
Best free agent pickup of the year, Brolo. Had a massive year, that motherfucker. He actually rebounded the ball. Yeah. 6.5 rebounds is massive for Brook Lopez. I'm still classing it as a fail.
But yeah, the
age of his
failed season for Simo.
He's got, again, he's going to have another preseason of deciding what the fuck to do. Because he's getting old. You know, you look at his Bridges now. I think Bridges now is a lot more valuable than what he is. So he's probably in a better place than he was last year, to be honest. Because he's got Murray, Levine. Well, Levine's 28. I didn't even know he was 28. And Bridges is in a better spot. So interesting to see what he does. If he does like a little mini rebuild or he goes all in again. Well, half all in. If you got a first round pick this year, you haven't gone all in for me.
Well, going all in literally would mean
throwing
everything that you have towards winning. So he kept his first round pick. He didn't go all in.
Hey, consistent.
But that
consistent is always up there. But yeah.
Yep.
2-time champ.
Aaron.
I think the way he started, it's a pass. With his keepers, it's a fail. So it's a bit of a fence one to me. Cat out hurts him.
Yeah, the first round, that's scraping in playoffs.
Well,
you have your first round pick, that's a fail.
Oh, does he have his first round pick too? Well, yeah, no, you're right. If we're failing Simo, we're failing at Aaron. So yeah, I agree with you on that one.
Yeah, Simo didn't trade a former first round.
He's actually got 2 first round picks.
To lose.
Aaron had 2 first round picks.
He does. He does.
Trade was done.
But neither of those are a shot at Victor. That was the LaMelo trade.
Oh, yes. No, he did well for the LaMelo trade, but still, with his keepers, I don't know, is Cat still highly rated anymore or not? 21 games played. Pretty pissed.
How can you say?
He's like...
You haven't really seen him with Gobert.
Yeah, okay. I guess we have to wait. We'll put a wait and see on that one, I guess.
Yeah, but a failed year for Aaron. I guess he'll be happy enough that he's still got those picks.
Yep. He can go reset and go again next year. Because if his keepers,
Please,
he's one of the teams that can
big
afford
fail.
to keep his first because his keeper's always that fucking good that they count for a lot more than what other players do, you know. But yeah, all right, we'll call that a fail. Now I'm obviously a pass.
Yep. Are you?
Yeah, I was the baseball shittest cunt, mate. Making playoffs is a pass for me. Being 4-7, about to blow it up. Somehow you and Crouch choked, got me into the playoffs. Serge didn't trade me Chet. Now, if I traded for Chet and missed the playoffs, that's a massive, ridiculous fail. But I made the playoffs coming from nothing. I was the worst team in the league, made playoffs. That's a pass. Any other year, that's a pass for anybody. Obviously, ran into Richo, and yeah, the rest is history.
To quote you, if you are not first, you are last.
Correct.
Therefore, you are shit and you failed. Your season is a fail.
I class that as a pass. Baker doesn't get my fucking top 6 pick. I made the playoffs. I knocked you out of the playoffs. That's a pass season,
mate. Big old fail, Benjamin.
I think the group
you went all in. You went all in.
I went
made the playoffs. You got not the first round.
I went super. But remember, I traded before the season as well. Traded my first.
Yeah, you went all in.
Yeah. So where I came from last year to this year, I'm calling that a pass.
Okay, you do that. The rest of us will live in reality and know that you failed.
Well, look, if we're going to do this, only one person fucking passed, and the rest of us failed, right? If we were going to play these stupid games.
But this is your own logic. This is your.
It's not my logic.
Philosophy.
If you're not first, your last logic
is
is someone else's. I just use it. I used to be against it.
You use it on a regular basis, and now it's being thrown back at you. You're suddenly disagreeing with it.
If you're not your first, your last. If you're not first, you're second. If you're not second, you're third. There's no logic in that. It's a meme to me. Like, go back in the group chat. I've been against if you're not first, you're last for fucking the whole time this league's been alive. Because your position.
You're the one that says that everyone that doesn't win is the same. They're all shit. Yeah, you win or you're shit. You didn't win, so you're shit.
Because I'm memeing, bro. It's a big fat.
This
meme.
whole entire production is a meme.
Yeah, I know.
This production.
Anyway, I was a part.
Flash.
Let's move on. Let's move on to Crouch. Look, the bottom 6 is all a fail. Apart from Baker, I think Baker's a pass.
We'll save that. Crouch.
Massive fail.
Crouch is lucky he still has his first. And Crouch, you are welcome that I talked Baker into taking Buddha's first in that Steph trade, not yours. But yeah, that's a bit of a lost season for him. Unlucky with the injuries.
Well, in the end, it didn't matter.
Still ultimately a fail.
It didn't matter what pick Baker took. They both finished bottom 6, right?
But to him, it's going to feel.
He would rather have Buddha
to have his own pick.
Buddha's the second favourite horse, and his isn't. So he made the wrong choice, in my opinion.
Well, Baker made the correct choice. Crouch didn't have a choice.
Baker made the correct choice. Yeah. So he probably would rather have Buddha's right now, though, is what I'm saying.
Yes. You are technically correct. The best kind of correct.
Now, this is where I'm going to get really serious.
Let me just.
Crouch. All right, you go.
I was going to say, if Crouch's pick and as Victor, he will feel way worse than if it was now.
Yeah,
if he didn't have his pick.
Obviously, mate. I think everyone's going to. This is why Buddha going on about how he's got your first and not his own. He would rather have his own. Because if his own turns into Wemby, he'll be pissed about it. As much as he says he's not pissed about it, he would be. You're very sound about it. But now, my turn. Now, if you have 2 of the top 6 fantasy players and you missed the
top 5, I believe.
Yeah, and I think Edwards was 6th. So So it was 2 of the top 6 when we did that.
Oh, you're talking about Crouch, right?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I thought we were talking about me.
No, Crouch first. We'll get to you in a minute, mate. Two of the top 6, so Embiid and Edwards, and missed the playoffs. A massive, massive fail. That's big. That is Sir Vardy choking to have the two of the top 6 players and miss playoffs. So we've actually had 3 Surge chokes this year. Surge, Crouch, and you.
Yeah, I failed. Terrible year.
And you had, and you even worse. You got 2 of the top 5. Traded your first round pick for Van Vliet.
Van Vliet was a top 20-ish for most of the year, I believe.
Yeah, I know. But do you remember when I was selling Siakam and you were bagging the fuck out of me when I was thinking about Van Vliet, though, mate? So what's changed? You were like, he's done. His knees are done. He plays too many minutes. Not worth it. And then a month later,
all those things are absolutely still true. He's 18th overall. Yeah, what happened was what happened was Maxey got injured, and I thought Middleton would be back.
Yeah,
that was all.
Yeah, I can't wait to see you trying to palm Van Vliet off now. It's gonna be great.
Oh, I guess you'll.
I don't
be waiting.
So yeah, you're a fail.
Yeah, I'm not going to offer him to you. Don't worry about that.
That's a fail.
Yes, big fail. Tall guy.
Does anyone even? Well, look, I'm going to say fail because you kept John Wall.
Yeah.
And if you're keeping John Wall over France, then you think that you're in with a chance to make playoffs. So he made some. You made a bad move early. He drafted actually pretty well, I thought. But if you're keeping John Wall over France, then you're expecting to make playoffs. And so big fail.
He drafted well a bunch of players who had value to people who are competing, but are not like really high level keepers.
Yeah. And then didn't trade anything.
So now that the season's over, he's just going to drop them, and he has no value. So he didn't make any moves to help. He's going to go into the next season at the exact same spot. If he doesn't get Victor or Scoot, he's in a worse spot than he was 12 months.
It'd be interesting to see who he keeps. Strobel. He's got like DeJounte, who's in a tier of his own, and Jaren Jackson. They're in a tier of their own. So they're the 2 guaranteed A-level keepers. But then you got like 5 or 6 guys under that are like very similar. I believe. With Russell, we probably won't keep. MPJ, I think he'll keep because he's been showing something. But again, only played 54 games so far. Kuzma had a good season. Giddey, obviously. Actually, I rate Giddey. I like Giddey. But then he's got Jalen Green, Hero, Paul. He got so many mid-tier players that he could have got picks for that he just kept for no reason. He can't keep them all.
Just backing up a bit, Shea is actually 3, so I had 2 top 3 players in missed playoffs.
Oh,
yeah. So Jaren Jackson was 14th on the season. DeJounte Murray is 34.
Still, yeah. Like, we all know Murray was going to come down a bit, right? Because going to the Hawks with Trey, he wasn't going to be that top 15 guy because he's just not the man of the team, right? Simple. He's still a very high-quality fantasy player. He's not that triple-double threat like he used to be every week. But his defensive stats are still great. His percentages are good. He's still a very, very good fantasy player. JJJ is elite because he's a big guy with blocks.
DeJounte Murray doesn't get blocks, and his field goal is about league average.
It's 46%. Like that's pretty.
It's league average.
Not terrible. His blocks are. He doesn't have to do as much at Atlanta than he did at the Spurs. So fantasy-wise, he's gone down. So still finish top 34, I think is great. Because I remember I tipped him to slide a lot at the start of the season, if you remember. I thought he'd slide a lot going to Atlanta. So he surprised me a little bit.
Okay, so 34 is about like the slide that I expected. He's come out pretty much where I expect him to be.
Yeah.
But fail for Marcus.
Definitely. I don't know who he's keeping. It'd be interesting to see who he does.
Shaky.
That's shaky. Where do I begin with that motherfucker, bro?
That's a fail. It's a big old F.
The biggest tank.
Because
he couldn't even tank. He couldn't even tank properly in the end. What's he got? The fifth favorite or the fourth favorite? Fourth favorite, sorry. Or was it third favorite? No, it's third favorite actually.
Yeah. So
that's probably reasonable. He probably tanked okay.
He's happy with that, but when you've got Trey and Halliburton, who was top 8, Halliburton was
OG.
It's a.
I know OG did not win the year, but big fail. He seems to think he's going to come back next year and be contending. Can't wait to see that shit. We'll see. Trey had a really good year, by the way.
Good luck.
He was like 6th or 7th in the end, wasn't he, Trey? Over the season? Fantasy season? He was top 10.
No.
Sure.
No.
What? I looked the other day. He was like 8th.
You can't totals, man. Per game, 38.
Well, yeah, but totals what matter.
So Trey was 38th. No, it's
per game is terrible, mate.
This is Roto. We play weekly.
Per game is terrible. If they're injured, I'd rather have but if they're injured not playing, that's worse than. That's way worse. So if you play 20 games, but your per game is number 2, you're not number 2 fantasy player because you haven't fucking played. So you calling out these
it depends on when you play.
Nah, it's terrible, mate. It's total games.
I'm not calling out per game stats of people who've played 8 games. I'm calling out per game stats of people who played 50 and 60.
Per game, who's the best ranked player with the least amount of games?
What do you mean with the least amount of games? You want me to sort it by reverse games played?
No. Just you've got it in front of you. Who in the first round has played the least amount of games?
Oh, right. Okay. So of the top 12 players,
who's played 70 plus?
It's Kawhi. Well, no team has played 70 plus games.
Yes, I have. Yes, Houston have played 70, man.
Okay, right. Well, no one from Houston's in the first round.
Yeah.
Jokic has played 63. He's the second most of anyone in the first round.
So Kawhi, what number is Kawhi?
He's also played 42 at 4th.
Sorry, that cut out then. Was that Kawhi 4th, was it? 42?
Kawhi 11th with 42. KD 4th with 42 as well.
Where are they on total? Like, that matters, bro. Simo lost the playoffs because he didn't have KD. It matters. You can't be the best fantasy player if you're missing 20-odd games, bro. It matters. We don't rank our rookies on points per game, do we? For rookie keepers. It matters. I hate the fact that you guys go points per game. It means, stats per game. It means nothing if they're playing 40 games. It doesn't make them the best fantasy. I'm actually can't wait. Isn't there a minimum game requirement coming in the NBA for MVP and shit now?
There's always been that. So
as there,
I shouldn't have to explain this to you. We have an 82-game season. There are very few players. There's like 2 that play every game. Yeah, so say that like so and so is a better player because he got more points over the season because he played 5 more games is dumb, and that's what your argument is based on.
5 more games is okay. 20, KD being in the top, the 4th best player in fantasy, he played 20 less games. Doesn't make him the best.
That shows you how good his 40 games were. No, but all of these players have a difference in games.
It's about averages.
All of these players have a difference in games.
Your average is obviously going to be more the less games you play.
No, it's not. You still have to.
Because the more games you play, the more chance you're going to playing bad ones, mate. It's percentages, bro.
Moving on.
Anyway, we're getting off topic, but that could be another argument in the group chat. But I am a total like because total matters more than points. More than per game.
Yeah, you are a total idiot. Yes.
No.
Would a pass or a fail?
For what he did, pass.
Fuck off. He's a big fail.
He traded Joker for kids, man. He was always going to be.
He also traded his first before the season started, and again,
I think he's a fail.
Therefore, he failed.
He failed for his win season, but then passed for his trading Joker past that part.
He doesn't to recontextualize.
He's still got a top 6
result based on what he expects.
He's still got a top 6 pick, and he got a haul for Joker. Like if you're basing his season basically on a rebuild, then it's a pass. If you're basing it on him trying to win to start the season, then it's for fail. So it depends what you're basing it on.
Big fail.
To nearly lose to Baker in the Beast Bowl, it's probably a fail.
That's a fail. See
how good his kids are next year.
He's probably not going to have Cade to start the year. He probably won't get Victor. Baker succeeded in doing what he wanted to do, but had a winless season. He's failed.
Yeah, the biggest fail.
His entire season relies on getting Victor. I guess by his metrics, if he gets Victor, it's a success. If he doesn't, it's a fail. 4 in 6 chance of being.
He didn't need to do it this way, though. That's my point. He didn't need to be this terrible because he's just prolonged his rebuild another 2 years, even if he gets Wemby. So he didn't need to go so bad. With Baker, he gets something in his head, and he just can't change his mind with it, right? I'll say this on the podcast. I said this to you in the preview. He fluked making it to the final. Him and Shaky Shaky fluked his championship, and Baker fluked. It just showed that weekly lockouts are terrible if Shaky can win it and Baker makes a final. Because what he's done this year is so fucking stupid. Like he doesn't like. It's just he didn't need to go so hard about it. He could have done the exact same thing. In a lesser terms, had a couple more decent keepers. He didn't need to be so crazy about it. Look, in the end, he's got the result he wants, but whether that's going to be good in his rebuild, he's not coming back and being good next year with all his picks. He's just not. He doesn't have anybody. And he's going to be so drunk on draft day that he'll fuck up his picks anyway. He values picks way too much. He always does. If you want to get a player, like I got some bonus for 2 firsts. I got some bonus and a second for 2 firsts, basically. It's so easy to get players off him because he just cares about first round picks.
Well, he doesn't have any players to trade now, so he can't go doing that.
It's gonna be funny if he gets pick 5 and 6. That's all I can say. It's gonna be fucking hilarious, actually, and expect to cop the most shit you've ever copped in this league, bro. And I will say it again: you fluked your way to a final, so stop bringing that shit up.
Again, Baker, this must be reiterated. It's never going to stop. You will cop shit for this season for the rest of your tenure within this league, within this group of people. You are going to be known as the guy who had the winless season.
Yeah.
And you will have nothing to fall back on if you don't get Victor. And even if you do get Victor, even if you do get Scoot, you still had a winless season.
0-21. That should be his team name. Yeah.
Fucking yikes.
0-21.
Yeah.
Terrible. But look, apart from our little disagreement, pretty fair. Pretty fair. Like, technically, if we want to be, there's only one pass, the rest of us failed.
Yes. Yep. So Matt pass, everyone else fail as per Berg's own metrics that he always brings to conversations.
You're not first, you're last.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, we've got to talk about this because I feel like this is one that I think the league will agree with. and that is Bahrain's terrible organisation of league events.
This.
Now, there's nothing
this
else
hasn't
to
been
do.
on my radar. This hasn't been on my radar this year because of, yeah. So I haven't felt the need to like complain about this, but now that it's been brought up, it does baffle me that no one has really brought this up more, because it was the entire reason around moving to fan tracks.
Yeah, well, so we could have a final day celebration and, drink up on a Sunday. Aaron decides to have a fucking birthday down at Aldinga on Saturday night.
This should have been locked in on draft day, like the day of the final.
Lackluster event to catch up today. No, I'd rather jerk off than catch up today when you make it the last minute. Okay? You have nothing with fan tracks. Bahrain, this is a message for you. You might be our champion, but you have nothing else to do. The least you should be doing is organising league events properly. Right? The minimum. Now, if you can be a good dictator and palm it off someone else to organise, that's fine. But organise it. Because I would love, like, the whole point, and Kraus made a point, the whole thing where we come to fan tracks was to have a Sunday final day Beast Bowl championship day. And we didn't get it. Because people are fucking being idiots. It's like having a wedding on grand final day of the AFL. Having your birthday on grand final weekend of the NBA fantasy is selfish.
Yeah, it really is.
Right, Aaron, you selfish little fucking garden gnome. It's terrible. It fucked up the whole plan. If there was a proper organised thing, I could have organised it to sort my shit out. And I'm guessing Baker would have been the same. Shaky would have been the same. Right? And we would have had a good catch-up where we could have a bit of fucking yelling, a lot of banter, and a few drinks on a Sunday. It's got to be organised better next year, is my point.
I would say that on draft day, Matt is going to put together most of the schedule, and he's going to know the weekend that's going to fall on.
Yep.
Before the NBA season starts, that should be locked in. This is
and if you organise shit for those dates, you're just a piece of shit. I don't care. Like, we're men here, mate. Fantasy is the top priority. You can say it's not, but this league is a high priority in all our lives. It really is. And it frustrates me that we can't get a decent event organised by our leader who does fucking nothing else. Hopefully he watches the podcast for his video and he says something about it. That'd be great.
Well, he still hasn't made a video yet, which, I mean, it's...
Like, is he going to wait?
It's after 9 o'clock.
But I think most people made it the next day, right?
I know that Simo did last year, but I feel like apart from that, a lot of them have been on the day.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure.
Have we talked about Serge's choke enough?
I mean, yeah, I feel like I've heard the word choke enough for one evening.
That's all. That was my whole point. I just wanted to make sure choke was said enough times that it sounded more like we were talking about kinks rather than Serge. I think we've achieved.
I think we've achieved it. And unlike 11 of us this year, this podcast is getting a big old pass mark the
massive pass, mate.
For the inaugural season.
In a fucking blast. I don't care, mate. I don't care what anyone in the league. I don't care we have no listeners. I've thoroughly enjoyed doing this, mate. Thank you for inviting me to do this. Finally calling me a co-host as well, which is great.
Fucking I'll never forgive Richo for that.
Thanks, Richo. You're useful. But no, look, it's been a fucking blast. It's definitely coming back next year. We've got some time to think of some better ideas and do some better stuff and organise it a lot better. Have a lot more stuff. And yeah, we'll obviously we'll do a season preview close to the next season and talk about keepers and stuff, I guess.
Yeah, see if we can be bothered coming back for a draft.
Yeah, I think we should. It should be a pre-draft. A pre-draft
preview. Yeah. So we'll have some time off to think about.
Your Sunday night's back.
And just remember that if you vote to move back to ESPN, we're still going to do this on a Monday.
Yeah, the podcast isn't going anywhere. It's here to stay.
So don't think you can. Don't think you can silence the rats.
No, the Ratcast is here forever.
Yeah.
Deal with it.
But it's been a pleasure this year, Ben.
Yeah. You too, buddy.
Thank you for the 4 of you that have passionately listened every single week.
Baker is our best listener.
Yes.
By a mile. So we thank our top fan, James Baker.
Probably explains his team if he's getting advice from us, to be honest.
Yeah, look, unfortunately, these idiots have to listen to 2 of the worst coaches of the league every week, but that's unlucky to them.
We'll be back next year with a season 2.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully I don't leave the league next year or the chat. Look, $10 brave to leave the chat, I reckon.
If you are still with us next year, Ben, I'll see you then.
It's very true. Yeah, very true. I'm just doing it out of spite, so Ben can't come in.
We can always just replace one Ben with another.
Yeah, that's right.
All right.
A better looking one.
Ben is a sexy man.
Not
all right. No, it's been a pleasure, Bergs. And we'll be back next year for season 2.
Hope everyone's players die.
There's still plenty of NBA season left for that to happen.
Yeah. By the way, quickly before we go, who's winning the NBA title quickly?
The Lakers. Why the fuck not?
I think the Bucks.
I couldn't be any more wrong this year, so I'll say the Lakers.
I think the
Bucks is a good pick. Anyone but the Celtics would like Philly.
Yeah.
Let's go with that. Go Philly.
Fuck Memphis.
They weren't even factored into my considerations anymore.
Easy. Hey, just want to get one out of you before we left. If anyone's here at the end, probably will be no one.
They've stopped listening fucking 4 months ago.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Take care.